Hello, and welcome back to Hands On. This is the third episode of Season 3. I am here with Ms. Stephany Perkins, the instructor of the new Natural Resources Program. Welcome to the show, Ms. Perkins.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yep. It's been a bit of a hassle getting things set up today, but it's good to be here.
Yes, definitely.
So, what exactly do you do as the Natural Resources instructor?
Well, this is a brand new program for us here at TCTC, but also in the state of Maine. So we're actually building this program this year. So I am a Maine guide. That's my background. And I've been working in outdoor education for the last 12 years. But I work with the students. We do a lot of field trips, and we have a lot of guest speakers in. And this fall, we've been really focusing on forestry and trees.
That's pretty interesting. So you said this is a first for the state?
Yes, it's the only natural resource program in the state of Maine.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So do you hope that having one set up here will get other schools and colleges on board as well?
Hopefully. That would be awesome if there's more programs. Right now, there's other programs in outdoor recreation and leadership, but this one is a little bit more science-based and focused.
And it's pretty good because we live up in Maine, which is a lot more of a natural place than other states.
Yeah, we get to connect with our own backyards all the time in this class.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you say you guys go on field trips. What are some field trips you guys have gone on recently?
So we have a woodlot, actually. The school owns a woodlot, so we do a lot of our learning out on the woodlot. But we also have traveled further than that. We work a lot with local organizations and local trails. So we have partners at Piscataquis Soil and Water that we get to go use their trails in Dover and in Brownville. We've hiked Borestone. And we've gone out to Greenville and been able to do a lot of exploring out there. We went and stayed at one of the lodges with the AMC and went out on the Katahdin, which is a big steamboat on Moosehead Lake.
So you guys are basically all over the place.
We're all over the place.
So do you guys go on field trips every class, or is it just really often?
I would say we're out of the classroom more often than we're in the classroom.
So when you guys are in the classroom, what do you do?
We're doing a lot of training. So we've been doing chainsaw safety training was our most recent, and there's a classroom component with each of those as well as a field component. So normally we have a day in the classroom learning, and then we go out and try it hands-on. That's
really cool. So what kind of safety precautions do you guys got to take? Because chainsaw safety, that sounds pretty dangerous.
Yeah, so there is a lot of safety precautions. We have to use appropriate PPE or personal protective equipment. So we made sure everyone was equipped with that. And we had to have a full day classroom session before we could even handle a chainsaw.
So what other equipment do you guys sometimes handle in class?
Yeah, so some other certifications that we're doing included hunter safety. So we're learning how to do rifle handling. We also did bow hunting. But again, there was a really big classroom portion of that before we went out to Big Pine Gun Club in Guilford. Yeah.
It takes a lot of training before you know how to use that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Safety is a really big part of our program.
Do you guys have to get OSHA certified?
Nope, OSHA is not currently part of our program yet.
In multimedia, we had to do OSHA 10.
Oh, wow.
It took a while. It's not very fun, but it's necessary.
Yeah, we do a lot of outdoor-based safety, so we're hoping to do wilderness first aid with all the students. We just finished basic search and rescue, so knowing how to be safe outside in the woods.
What kind of does the curriculum look like?
So this fall we focus on forestry. It's a lot easier to work with trees when they have their leaves still on them. So a lot of it is based around the seasons. This winter our curriculum is going to be focused on wildlife. So we're going to be shifting into focusing on animals. Again, because it's easier to track animals in the snow.
What kind of stuff do you guys have planned for the near future that you could talk about?
Yeah, so after we get back from break, we're going to be starting with wildlife. We're going to do a lot of snowshoeing and skiing, but at the same time learning. So looking for animal tracks, animal scat, being able to ID animals. And then with that is a recreation component. So we'll be going to Big Moose Mountain and learning how to downhill ski. And then this spring, we'll get actually more into aquatics and looking at, as things open up, things thaw and melt, we'll be able to check out our rivers and lakes that we have here in Maine.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like you guys do a lot of varied stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's also a lot of fun, but you try to keep the educational aspect of it.
Definitely. We try to be active, we try to be outside, but learning at the same time.
So this is a new program here. What kind of a process was it like to get a new program up and running here?
That's a great question. So we had to submit a curriculum to the state of Maine, and we're working on identifying the standards that match with that curriculum. And then we had to promote it and have students sign up. And hopefully next year we'll have even more. We have 11 students in the program this year, which was a great first year. And I would say really the only thing is you have to really like being outside.
Yeah. Not everybody likes being outside.
No, we're going outside today after this, and it's not very warm out. So being able to go outside, rain or shine, warm or cold.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when it comes to going outside, what kind of, I guess, things would you want to keep in mind? Because obviously if it's cold, you're going to want to bring a jacket. If it's warm, maybe not. What other things might people want to think about?
Yeah, so we do a lot of that as part of our curriculum, is learning what you need to be outside and to be safe. Thankfully, we were able to get a lot of equipment for this program this year. So the students all have a lot of gear and layers that they can wear to stay warm, because that is a very big risk factor. So staying warm, making sure you have food and waterproof clothing and everything you need to be comfortable outside.
All right, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What kind of certifications do students get out of the class? Because I know you brought up a couple. Is there anything else?
Yeah, let's see. So basic search and rescue, chainsaw, hunter safety, the wilderness first aid. We're also doing college course right now that's focused on Maine forest industry and forest businesses through Washington County Community College. So they're also getting credits through that.
That's pretty cool. So if students choose to go to that college, they already have a couple credits for it?
That's right.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What other colleges around here have programs that kind of align with this one? Maybe not, they don't collaborate with it like Washington County does, but you can find some programs there that kind of align with it.
Yeah, so Washington County is the only outdoor leadership program in the state of Maine, but there are a lot of programs in natural resources. So we're working with UMaine as well, and their forestry and parks rec and tourism students. So those are 2 degrees through the University of Maine, and they're going to be helping us figure out what we want to do with our woodlot, whether that's making trails or whatever that may be, a forest management plan.
All right. So this is a new program. So are you kind of hoping to help build a better curriculum next time, or try to build it as you guys go along?
Yeah, so I feel like the curriculum is pretty strong. We're doing a lot of things, and hopefully the goal is that more students will be interested as they see what we're doing. We've been really busy, so yeah, I'm hoping that we'll have a second year next year, so we'll have some students returning and we can build that curriculum for them.
All right, well, that's pretty cool. I hope to see you guys do even greater and greater stuff over time. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Ms. Perkins.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
I'm here with Caroline Ridout, who is a representative from the Maine Tourism Association, specifically from Tourism for Me. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you for having me.
So why did you choose to come to Tri-County Technical Center?
So I was invited to come and speak to students about what the opportunities are available in working in tourism and hospitality right here in Vacation Land.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what kind of opportunities are there for students around here?
Well, considering that the tourism and hospitality industry makes up 1 out of 5 jobs in the state of Maine, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different opportunities to work in this industry. You can do everything from being a whitewater rafting guide to being a computer graphics designer or multimedia director or marketing, or you can work for a hotel, you can work as a baker, you can work as a massage therapist. There are just lots of different opportunities.
So what field did you go into?
Well, when I actually got my start in the workforce, I began working in tourism and hospitality. I was a lifeguard at a summer camp, and from there I ended up working on schooners out of Rockland, Maine, and I did that thinking that it was just going to be a summer job after I graduated college, but I ended up falling in love with it, and I did it for 15 years. And when I wasn't sailing, I was actually a teacher. I taught for 7 years, and then my position evolved, and I wanted to spend more time with different groups of students. And this opportunity came up for me to sort of spread the word about the tourism and hospitality industry in Maine, and I jumped at it.
So when I think of tourism, I usually think of like people visiting the state, people from outside of here, or like tour guiding. What other things could you relate to the tourism industry around here that people might not think of?
That's a great question. So most people, like you said, they think, oh, if you are a tourist, then you're not from Maine. But keep in mind that if anyone travels an hour from where they live, then they're visiting a place, and that means they are a tourist to that location. So they could be shopping at a retail store. They could be going on a fishing trip. They could be going to check out the LL Bean store. I mean, there are lots of different ways that they can experience the state being locals to Maine.
Well, that's awesome. So what kind of stuff from programs here might people be able to go into? Because we got a whole bunch of different cool stuff here.
That's actually part of the reason why I love talking to CTE students, because a lot of the time they think, well, I'm in mechanics or I'm in welding. I can't work in tourism and hospitality. But that's just not true, because every single type of business needs people who can do lots of different things. For example, you think of a ski resort, right? That a ski resort, you can maybe work the hotel front desk, or maybe you can work at the ski counter, like handing out skis or whatever. Well, there are also mechanics that have full-time year-round jobs fixing and maintaining the lifts. There are marketing specialists. So you need multimedia folks who are creating events and websites and advertisements. You've got culinary folks who are cooking up all of the amazing meals, whether it's something quick that they're grabbing on the mountain, or they're eating a gourmet meal at the restaurant down in the lodge. So the cool thing about CTE programming is that there are lots of different ways that you can incorporate what you're learning right here at a CTE into the world of tourism and hospitality.
Well, that's awesome. So where can people go to learn a bit more about the tourism industry?
Well, they can check out our website. It's tourismforme.com, and there it's a resource for students. They can learn about different career opportunities. They can learn different learning pathways, whether it's college or a certificate program. They can learn about the Voices of Tourism videos that we have produced and share with students that give them a 30-second glimpse into a different career opportunity, whether it's being an event planner or a mechanic on a ski resort. I know I mentioned that before, or working for the Portland Sea Dogs. There's also the MaineTourism.com website, which actually gives lots of information about the state as a whole.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show and sharing with us all this cool stuff about the tourism industry. A lot of this stuff I didn't really know before listening, and I'm hoping this opens up opportunities for people watching the show wanting to go into it.
Well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me. And it was nice to meet all of you.
I'm here with Hiram Butler and Topher McGuinness, 2 students from the Natural Resources program. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are in Natural Resources. What kind of stuff do you guys get up to in class?
Depends on the day and the weather. At the beginning of the year, we were doing tree ID and all sorts of that stuff. And after that, we taught some kids from a hometown, and then we're getting into snowshoeing and working with our wood lot.
Well, sometimes we do go on field trips.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Most of the time, but it's split by 2 days, like T1 and T2, and we are in T1. And the T2 class, you might meet them, but we don't really know. Or sometimes that, in rare occasions, we just put them in, like, both, like, together.
Really?
Yeah.
So how exactly does that kind of work?
When we, like, join classes, it's usually for, like, the overnight camping that we do and all that. And that's really fun. It makes it a better experience when there's more people.
Yeah, and usually if we're just, like, you know, going on, like, big trips, like one time we went to Mount Borestone and we climbed it.
What kind of other field trips have you guys been on recently?
Recently, not a whole lot. We've been doing some classwork. Other field trips we went on is, like, Washington County Community College.
Yes.
And we spent some time there.
So did you go there? So did you go there as a tour? Did you go there for other reasons?
So we're enrolled in, like, a class with them and doing stuff with managing wood and, like, the acreage. And this was a little bit for fun purposes, visiting. We went camping and we did a ropes course, and the day after we did rock climbing on their indoor rock wall, and it was pretty fun.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Do you have anything else to kind of add to that?
We did hunter safety, chainsaw safety. For the hunter safety, you have to, like, you know, shoot, like, you know, like actual guns. Like, we did shotguns and rifles.
Ooh, that sounds pretty intense.
They were small caliber, so it was school safe.
Yeah.
Like 22s and 20 gauge shotguns.
Yep.
And yes, for the chainsaw safety, it was a
day of classwork, like the textbook work, and then
you get into the fun stuff where you start actually using it.
Yeah, we did a day of using them, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be pretty fun. A little scary too.
Yeah, we got chainsaw safety certified, so we can run one safe.
Well, that's awesome. Multimedia, we don't have to work with such dangerous tools. This is about the most dangerous stuff we work with is our equipment. So what do you guys enjoy about the class?
I like how we aren't doing, like, classwork, like books and all.
Like traditional stuff?
Yeah, like actual school work.
We're doing lots of hands-on stuff.
That's one thing I love about Tri-County is that you do a lot of hands-on stuff and not just book work, although book work is still involved. So it's kind of like going to a normal school, but it's also more like a workplace where you have other people you got to work with.
Yeah, I like it more hands-on because I learn more hands-on than textbooks.
So how do you guys work with your other classmates? Do you mostly do stuff on your own, or do you do work with your classmates?
A lot of it, depending on the activity, but a lot of it is, like, cooperating with classmates.
So what are, like, some examples of how you would cooperate with classmates in the class?
So we were doing wreath making Friday or Thursday, and so I was up in a tree collecting the fir tips, and I was handing them down to my classmates, and they were bringing them to the road. That's cooperating.
What plans do you guys have for after Tri-County? Like, do you plan to go to college, or do you go right into the workforce? What other plans do you have?
See, I want to join the military, and then after, the natural resources class is going to help me with, like, getting my Maine guide license. I want to be a fishing guide.
That's pretty cool. What do you plan on going into after Tri-County?
So I think I might go to, like, you know, Washington County Community College, and basically learn to be, like, you know, a forest ranger. Yeah, so a forest ranger is basically protecting wildlife and make sure people are following the rules.
Well, that's really cool to hear. So do you plan on going to any colleges, or do you plan on going right to the military?
I think I'm going to go into the military, and then, like, being a Maine guide, you don't have to go to college for that. It's just like a test. You can go from, like, a tech center straight into the Maine guide.
So what other experience do you hope to get out of this class?
Possibly like a little bit more certification, so it makes me look good, and it'll help me with my reputation for Maine guide.
All right. Well, that's pretty interesting. Do you guys have any other things you'd like to talk about? Things that you've done in class recently, or things that you think people might want to know about the class?
It's a very great class. The instructor is very nice, and you get a whole lot of certifications, lots of experience, very good time.
So there's two things I do want to tell you is that on January 17th, T1 and T2 class are all coming to do skiing.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, at Big Moose, I guess.
Yeah, now that winter's here, we're doing a whole lot of recreation with the snow.
Yeah.
That's cool. So try to keep us posted on that. We'll see if us multimedia students could go get some pictures of you guys, put that on Facebook. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show.